The story of Zeus, king of the gods. Once upon a time, in a land high above the clouds, there was a very powerful god named Zeus. He was the king of all the gods and goddesses. Zeus lived on Mount Olympus, a beautiful mountain where the sky met the earth. The clouds were fluffy, and the sun shone bright. Zeus had a big throne made of gold, and it was decorated with sparkling jewels. Zeus was a strong and mighty god, but he was also very kind. He cared for all the people on earth and wanted them to be happy. But sometimes, he had to be very serious and make tough decisions. Zeus had many brothers and sisters, and they were also powerful gods. His brothers were Poseidon, the god of the sea, and Hades, the god of the underworld. He also had sisters like Hera, who was the queen of the gods. One day, Zeus noticed that the people on earth were not treating each other very well. They were arguing and fighting. Zeus wanted to help them understand how important it is to love and care for each other. So, he decided to go down to earth and see what was happening. When Zeus arrived on earth, he took the form of a kind old man. He wore a long robe, and his hair and beard were white like clouds. He walked through a small village and saw two neighbors arguing about a fence. "Why are you two fighting?" Zeus asked with a gentle smile. The first neighbor said, "I want the fence to be taller so that my goats don't get out." The second neighbor replied, "But I like the fence the way it is. It looks nice." Zeus thought for a moment and then said, "Why don't you both work together to make a fence that you both like? You can make it taller and pretty at the same time." The neighbors looked at each other and nodded. They decided to work together. They built a beautiful fence that was tall enough for the goats but also looked nice. They thanked the old man for his advice. Feeling happy, Zeus continued on his way. Next, he saw a little girl sitting by the river, crying. He approached her and asked, "Why are you sad, my child?" The girl sniffled and said, "I lost my favorite toy boat in the river. I can't find it." Zeus felt sorry for the little girl. He said, "Don't worry. I will help you find your boat." He waved his hand, and suddenly, the river became calm. The water sparkled like stars in the night sky. With another wave, he called out to the fish in the river, "Please help this girl find her toy boat." The fish swam around, and soon, one of them popped up with the little toy boat in its mouth. The girl's eyes lit up with joy. "Thank you, kind old man," she shouted as she took her boat back. Zeus smiled and said, "Always believe that there is kindness in the world." Then, he continued on his journey. As he walked through the village, he saw more and more people. Some were happy, and others were sad. Some were helping each other, while others were arguing. Zeus knew he had to do more. So, he climbed back up to Mount Olympus. There, he called a meeting with all the other gods. "We must teach the people of Earth how to be kind to one another," he declared. His sister Hera suggested, We can send them messages. We can tell them to share and help each other. Poseidon added, let's create beautiful storms and sunny days to show them the power of nature. And Hades said, let's remind them that life is precious and that they should cherish every moment. Zeus nodded, these are wonderful ideas. Let's work together to bring peace to Earth. So, the gods got to work. They sent gentle rains to water the crops, sunny days for children to play, and beautiful flowers to bloom. They sent messages in the clouds that read, be kind to one another. Slowly, the people began to notice the changes. They saw the beauty around them and remembered how nice it was to be friends. They started helping each other, sharing their food, and taking care of their families. One day, Zeus decided to visit Earth again. This time, he appeared as himself, a strong and powerful god with a crown of lightning. The people looked up in awe. It is Zeus, they whispered, filled with wonder. Zeus smiled down at them and said, you have learned well. You are helping one another and spreading kindness. Keep it up, and your lives will be filled with happiness. The people cheered and thanked Zeus for his guidance. They promised to always remember his lessons of kindness and friendship. Zeus felt proud. He knew he had made a difference. From that day on, the people of Earth lived in peace and harmony. They remembered the lessons of Zeus, the king of the gods. Whenever there was a storm, they remembered the sunny days, and whenever they felt sad, they remembered the joy of helping each other. And so, Zeus watched over them from Mount Olympus, proud of the good in the hearts of people. He continued to guide them with his wisdom and love.